It's on, okay. Hearty welcome to all of you. It's wonderful to see you all here. And every time we organize a writers' meet like this, it's so exciting to see all the writers because they're writers of different ages and there are writers of different status. We all write and we all write what we want.
It's based on Ropuiliani, as maybe some of you would have caught the name as they sung it. And Ropuiliani is actually a Mizo chiefess, and she was, we had a lot of chiefs and chiefesses, so she was the only one who refused to succumb to the British.
We are going to launch Professor Pachuau's latest work, which is Negotiating Culture, Writings from Mizoram, published by Bloomsbury in 2023. Warm congratulations.
You know, we've always had a culture where we were very, very environmentally conscious, much before, global perspectives came about respecting animal and also, animal life and plant life. In our tradition, we've always had this, and this was basically in the pre-colonial days. In fact, you'll find many of our folklore which actually do not have human protagonists as such. There is this story called Rimen Hoi. Rimen Hoi is the woman who had very, very long hair, and she lived with her husband. There is a chief, a foreigner, who kidnaps her because she's very beautiful and he wants her for a wife. And then when the man comes, he stays in a village, there's an entire community, but what happens is he doesn't ask anyone in the community. He doesn't go to the chief. He doesn't go to his neighbors. He asks his hen, the pet hen, and also the pet dog. He says, "Where is my wife?" And both of them reply to him, and it is with their help that, he traces back his wife. And we used to come up on holidays from, wherever my father was posted, sometimes in Assam, sometimes in Mumbai, and because I studied in Delhi. We are a Mizo-speaking family. My father and my mother, we never spoke one word even though they were convent educated, they never spoke one word of English to us at all. Perhaps the only time that we ever heard them, at least inside the house, not outside of course, because they had to speak English there, was when they picked up the phone and they said hello. That was the only thing that we heard, a non-Mizo word. So everything was done in Mizo.
When I was around maybe about 3 years, my father left us in the village, and he went to, with our grandparents. And then later on, we moved to this very town, Chatlang. This is where I started my education in the nursery school. And I studied up to class 2. But those were the really important formative years for me.
Okay.
Because we studied in the what is now called primary school. We studied some poems and some of those Mizo lessons. And somehow, at the Mizo folk tales, somehow I just fell in love. Just within those 3-4 years, I fell in love with Mizo poetry and Mizo folklore. This character, my protagonist, is a woman named Zorampari, which is shortened to Zorami. You know, when we call names, we often use just part of the name. So she is known as Zorami. She represents the trauma that the whole of Mizoram underwent during that insurgency movement. Having just got out of bed, she stands beside it in a brown night dress of thick knitted material. She folds her arms across her chest and stands still for a while, lost in thought. She shivers a little with the morning chill, picks up a woolen cardigan hanging on the bed head and puts it on in slow motion.
That was wonderful.
आजकल मैं मन का करती हूँ, हाथों को गर्म कॉफ़ी से और फैज़ की नज़मों से रूह को सेकती हूँ, आजकल मैं मन का करती हूँ. I was an unwanted girl child. I was born in a small village in Haryana. So when I was 40 days old, my mother was somehow able to send a message to my grandmother, my nanny, my matriarchal nanny, that please call me back. So my mama came to my village. And at the age of 40 days, I came to my nanny, and I never went back to my father's house because my nanny said if my child is not respected in a house, I'm not going to send her back.
Okay.
That was my nanny, who was not formally educated, but so evolved that who stood with her daughter and a granddaughter.
My God.
I was brought up by my nanny.
You must mention your nanny's name.
Parmeshwari Devi. So my mother started her financial independence working in that primary health center as a Aya.
Okay.
And many people, when you're sincere and hardworking, many people help you. There was Dr. Banerjee. I remember I used to play with her daughter. I remember her very distinctly. And she told my mother, you're so good in your job, why don't you do a nursing course? There also, there was another doctor who said, you know, she wanted to sort of go. She said, why don't you do medicine? She said, that is out of question, because English. She said, no, do Ayurveda. So she went to do her Ayurveda course. 5 years, which is an Ayurvedic doctor. She continued working, and then in Nazafgarh, where she started as a Aya, she rented out a place and had a Chitra Nursing Home Ayurveda Center bang opposite that. That was the journey of my mother.
Wow.
सांझ ढले, दूर से ही अपने गांव की मिट्टी को सहलाती हूँ. मेरे दोस्त कहते हैं, आजकल मैं कुछ नहीं करती, क्योंकि आजकल मैं मन का करती हूँ. हाथों को गर्म कॉफी से और रूह को फैज़ की नज़मों से सेकती हूँ. आजकल मैं मन का करती हूँ.
What is success for you?
Successful, I think, when you sit alone and talk to yourself, when you respect yourself, the kind of life that you've led. I remember when I was in college and I used to write poetry. So I was invited on All India Radio in Delhi, on Yuvani. And we had a big radio at home. Sundays were always reserved for my mother and Nani. Every Sunday I'd go. So she sat with me and she heard that. I'm sure she didn't understand those poems. But the sense of pride she felt, and the whole village, she went to everybody's house and said, did you hear? Chitra spoke on radio. So for her, that it gave a kick to her that, her granddaughter is talking on radio. So making them feel proud of me was successful.
Okay.
I'm going to sing it.
Just hum it here.
Atlon velo ropuiliani sapuitona. Like that.
Okay.
Atlon velo ropuiliani sapuitona.
That's all.
She didn't succumb to the
the-
British rule, the British administration.
This is video. Okay.
From 6, I was regularly writing. My father used to buy small diaries and pencil for me. I used to write full of. I have 6-7 diaries full before that age, and I used to keep the diaries near my pillow when I sleep at night. And when I used to go to play in park, I could carry the diaries because somebody will ask me, "Na, why there is a diary?" I'll say, "I will be a writer when I grow up." So that was the purpose. Million's day of departure. I'll read this portion in whole because this is very important for me, important for the story. She didn't dare mention her dream to her daughter, as if that would shatter his fragile bowl of glass. Million's day of departure really did arrive. He had been here for a month and a half. How much longer could his holiday last? He had to study, finish his research. He had shaved before leaving, his face looking softer and fairer now. The flight was to leave at 2 in the morning. Milind would leave at 10:30 after dinner. Her daughter and son-in-law had dropped in to say goodbye. Her grandchildren got fistfuls of chocolate. Now he was touching his parents' feet in respect. His grandmother was handing him a bowl of curd. If he wiped his hand on a sari afterwards, he would have a safe journey. Saroj gazed at him, her vision blurred, but she was not blinking. Milind came forward and hugged her. There was a packet on a chair for her. "Here are you, auntie. Wear this when you feel cold." Milind draped a soft green shawl around her. Instead of thinking how comfortable she would be next winter, Sarojbala moaned. She felt as though the moon had splintered, sinking deep into the water along with the glittering pillar of gold. "Stay safe, my son, wherever you are. May my lifetime be added to yours. And may God give you all the wealth in the world. May Allah give you all His blessings." With these words in her head, Shabnam Banu, mother of Bilqis Banu, wept, shedding from her soul the fear of leaving, dropping all the shame of her non-existence into the water of the Arabian Sea. And I believe in going to the places and writing. I travel. I would say that writing is kind of a byproduct of what I'm seeing. I travel and...
So you would do kind of field work?
I would say more than field work in the sense I sit with people, talk to them.
Okay.
Not that I actively take notes or anything.
Okay.
Because what I love is the warmth of their company. Then maybe 10% of it comes in writing. But that I've been doing from my very early days also.
सिंध की बात करते हुए परिवार जो है हमारा, मम्मी और पापा दोनों का जन्म 1940 का है और दोनों ही पार्टीशन के समय 7 साल के थे। विभाजन के बाद जब आए तो सबसे पहले जयपुर, क्योंकि ऑलरेडी मम्मी के चाचा जो हैं उनकी वहाँ पे दुकान थी। तो हमारा जो परिवार है उनको रेफ्यूजी कैंप में तो नहीं रहना पड़ा, तो मुझे नानी को देखने का अवसर नहीं मिला, लेकिन मैंने अपनी माँ को जो देखा उससे मुझे समझ आया कि मेरी माँ, मेरी मासी, मेरी बुआ, मेरी दादी, वो सब किस किस स्थिति से, परिस्थिति से गुजरी हैं। मणका गणन जो सौदो, वारियासी ज़मीन ते तिखा गाढ़ा सावा पीला रंग विखेरींदियूं कच्छ जूं ॻोठाणियूं औरतूं पाणी भरण लाइ रोज़ सफ़र कंदियूं आहिनि 8-10 मेलनि जो। संदन पड़नि में लॻल शीशा सिज जी तेज़ उस में संदन पघर खां थोड़ो घटि ई चिमकंदा आहिनि। संदन पोतियुनि में कयल हुरमेचे जे भर्त जा घुमावदार पेच संदन रोज़ जे रस्तनि खां कुछ सवलाई आहिनि। घर वारनि लाइ रोज़ पाणी भरण वेंदड़ औरतूं कॾहिं कोन थकजंदियूं आहिनि ऐं कॾहिं कोन ॻणींदियूं आहिनि त पेकनि साहुरनि लाइ पाणी भरींदे सॼी उमिरि उन्हनि अहिड़ा केतिरा फेरा कया। ही उहे ई औरतूं आहिनि छा? ही उहे ई औरतूं आहिनि छा जिन शाह साईंअ खे यादि ॾियारियो त धणीअ जी इबादत में माला फेरींदे मणका ॻणण त सौदो आहे। मैंने ग्रेजुएशन जब किया उसके बाद मैंने पर्शियो अरेबिक सिंधी सीखी। है वो सिंधी स्क्रिप्ट, लेकिन क्योंकि वो उर्दू के जैसी लगती है, फ़ारसी के जैसी लगती है, उसमें पर्शियन अरेबिक के भी कुछ लेटर्स हैं, क्योंकि 14th 15th सेंचुरी से लेकर भारत की आज़ादी तक का जो भी सिंधी साहित्य है वो उस सिंधी लिपि में ही है जो राइट टू लेफ्ट लिखी जाती है।
Yeah, I wrote small poems in school magazine, but annual magazine. But those are lost. During those days, my father gave 5,000 rupees for the publication. I still remember. After marriage, my husband published my second book. It came out after a long gap. After 12 years, it was in the year 1995. And my husband published that book.
Your husband is a publisher, or he published it out of love?
Yes, you can say that. And the last book I published in 2022. This book also has been published by him. After marriage, I was living in different places, Shillong, then Tura. Then again, I came back in early 90s. In 1992, I came back to our native place. Then suddenly I saw that there was no forests. It was all denuded. There were stumps everywhere. So that period I wrote the poem. Nebe spai janai jaharni bonto murafra war cemetery ni mungklong kampa purbadi thong thong kosongnani dongo. Nebe spai janai jaharni bonto murafra war cemetery ni mungklong kampa purbadi thong thong kosongnani dongo. Nathai biao gaya war cemetery ni bai mungdangka epitaph. When you go home, tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow, we gave out today. In 1986, all Bodo Women Federation was formed, and under this banner, women also participated in Bodoland movement.
Okay.
After above, in short we call it above, above has taken the initiative. Polygamy has been completely stopped.
Okay.
When I was 10 years old, we moved to Pune from Shillong. We had been in Shillong for 4 years, and we had a really good life there, had a lot of friends, had really enjoyed my school life, my church life, everything. And I missed my old home and my friends, and Pune was a strange new place. It was unfamiliar and as different as could be from Shillong. And I had trouble adjusting to the new life, especially in school. Even though there were lots of really nice girls who used to invite me to have tiffin with them, I had a hard time making new friends. And in those days, I remember that I used to get up early, really early in the morning, like earlier than all of my siblings for some reason. And I used to hear this call of a bird, which was quite distinct. And even though it was rather loud and repetitive and one might call jarring, I found it rather comforting. And I think that it's quite beautiful that human beings, when we are lonesome, that we're able to find comfort and companionship in so many things around us, like in nature, in art, and in music. And I grew to love Pune, and I had the happiest and the most memorable times of my life there. So this is Koel. The sun is hardly up, it's dawn. Everyone else is still sleeping. Sat in the living room, curtains drawn, no one to see me weeping. I look out the window, up at the sky. A fading star shimmers alone. Another new school and a brand new life. I long to be back in my old home. And every morning the Koel sings, though his face is hidden from view. I don't know the color of your eyes and wings, but I sure like to listen to you. Someday I would grow to love the place, but as of 10, how I hated it all. Not wise to time and its perplexing ways, dried my eyes to the coil's call. Thank you.
मैंने लिखना शुरू किया और अलग अलग नाम से, क्योंकि मैं नहीं चाहती थी कि किसी को पता चले कि मैं लिख रही हूँ अखबारों में। मैंने कभी सरला, बिमला, कभी किसी के नाम से ऐसे लिखना शुरू किया। और पहली बार मुझे लगा कि मैं ऑनेस्ट नहीं हूँ अपने तरफ, तो पहली बार मैंने जब अखबार में लिखा तो अपने पिता के लिए लिखा और वो अपने नाम से लिखा मैंने। उसमें मैंने लिखा कि कैसे मेरे पिता मारते थे मेरी माँ को और क्या करते थे। वो पंजाबी का अखबार था और वो रिश्तेदारों के पास पहुँच गया सबके।
That would be terrible.
तो एक मीटिंग रखी गई गुरुद्वारे में। तो गुरुद्वारे में मीटिंग रखी और मुझे बुलाया गया कि तुमने ऐसा क्यों लिखा।
फादर।
हाँ, और फादर की मेरी तब तक डेथ हो चुकी थी। वो 42 के थे जब ख़त्म हो गए। पीते बहुत थे। तो मदर मेरी बिल्कुल जवान थी जब वो चले गए। तो मुझे कहा गया कि तुम गुरु ग्रंथ साहब की कसम खा के कहो कि तुम आज के बाद घर पे नहीं लिखोगी, तुम बाहर की औरतों पे लिखो और बाकियों के लिखो। मैंने कहा तो पहले तो मैं किसी की कसम खाती नहीं हूँ, और ख़ास तौर पे उस किताब के बारे में जिसको मैं इतना जानती नहीं। अगर खानी होगी तो मैं अपनी किसी कविता की खा सकती हूँ, तो दूसरा मैं खाऊंगी नहीं, आप मुझे रोक नहीं सकते। अब मैंने ये कहा कि अब मैं शादीशुदा हूँ, तो आपका हक, आपने कहा था कि लड़कियों की जब शादी हो जाती है तो उनकी वापसी मायके में नहीं होती, वो ससुराल से या तो लाश की वो अर्थी पे ही निकलती हैं। तो आप अपना हक मेरे पे खो चुके हो। पहले प्रेम विच भीजी मैं, घर पहुंची तां धर्म दे तौलिए नाल रगड़ रगड़ पूंछ दिता गया जिसम, निशान मिटा दिते गए रेशमी चुम्मना दे, देह चों निचोड़ मोह भर दिता गया मर्यादा दा फूस। विआह दी रात बस टप टप दी आवाज़ सुनी, घोड़ सवार तद देखिया जद हंब रहा मेरे ते वार वार चढ़दियां। हंसी आ गई दर्द विच भी। लिखना तो जैसे होता है कि प्यार होता है, कोई अच्छा लगता है, तो तभी से शुरू हुआ कि कोई अच्छा लगने लगा तो किसको बताती। तो एक कविता ही थी जिसको मैं बता सकती थी कि मुझे कोई अच्छा लग रहा है।
मेरे पिताजी मराठी म्हणजे महाराष्ट्र संस्कृति कल्चर एंड फोकलोर के जाने माने विद्वान थे, अब नहीं रहे। तो सुन के बड़ी हुई, किताबों के ढेर लगे थे घर पे। ओळख तशा अनोळखी नसतोच आपण एकमेकींना, आपल्या पायात नादावत असतात उगाच आनंदाचे जाळ, तेव्हाच्या आपली आठवण करतो आपण सगळ्या बाजारात भेटलेल्या एखाद्या एकट्या क्षणापाशी कधी ना कधी। आपल्या डोळ्यातलं निर्भय आभाळ मिटवून गाडून टाकतात आपली नजर जमिनीत कायमची, ते लोक आपलेच असतात, आपलेच प्रियजन। याचा दुस्सह अनुभव घेतोच आपण सगळ्या कधी ना कधी। आपण नांदवतो आपला पुरुष त्याच्या चमकदार खुरा शिंगांसकट, निभावतो संसार, लिंपतो चिरा भेगा स्वतःच्या काळजासकट, पोटात बसणाऱ्या लाथा चुकवून सांभाळतो आपली रहस्य पोटातच। हसतो आपण मनातल्या मनात, मनातल्या मनात आपल्याला शोधून दमलेल्या जगातल्या शहाण्या पुरुषाला। असल में पोएट्री लिखी तो कॉलेज के?
So when you wrote poetry, did your father read it?
जब प्रेम कविताएं लिखनी शुरू की है तो फादर को नहीं दिखा दी।
तो चलो ये बताइए कि कितना प्रेम कविता लिखा आपने?
आणि आपल्याला तसं हसता येतं हेही तो जाणत नाही. मनात आणलंच तर जग हसून पेटवू शकतो आपण, पण तसलं काही आपण कधी मनातही आणत नाही. खरंच आपण किती ओळखतो एकमेकींना, किती ओळखतो.
मैंने एट द एज ऑफ 37 मैंने बहुत बाद में शादी की. माँ मेरे साथ ही रहती थी. મારા લગ્ન પછી તું પત્રમાં લખતી, તું બહુ યાદ આવે તારે તારો જૂનો સાડલો ઓઢીને તારા કાગળો વાંચું છું. બા હવે તું શું કરે છે? ઉપર જાકર જો હું તો તને ઈચ્છું ત્યારે મળી લઉં છું. લે આ ઊભી અરીસા સામે મારી પાસે તે આપેલું નાનું કપાળ છે. લોકો કહે છે નાના કપાળવાળા બહુ ભાગ્યશાળી નથી હોતા. તારો અનુભવ જુદો રહ્યો. તે કહેલું નાની હતી ત્યારે માતાજીના વેશમાં આવેલા બહુરૂપીએ ભવિષ્યવાણી કરેલી કે આ છોકરીના નસીબમાં ઘોડાગાડી છે. सन 2000 में मेरी माँ का अवसान हो गया. वो अपने भाई को स्कूल छोड़ने जाती थी ऐसे गोद में उठा के. तो भाई बैठता था स्कूल के ऊपर ओसारे में, वो भी बंद स्कूल नहीं था, वो नीचे मट्टी में बैठती थी. ऊपर भाई लिखता था, नीचे बहन लिखती थी. और इतनी पढ़ने की शौकीन थी कि वो छाछ लेने जाती थी तो अखबार का टुकड़ा मिल जाए तो वो पैर से उठा के अपनी साड़ी में ऐसे खोस लेती थी, फिर घर आके पढ़ती थी. और एट द एज ऑफ 40 मेरी माँ ने मुझे जन्म दिया. और उस समय मेरी बहन 3 साल की बेटी की माँ थी. तो मेरा जन्म हुआ तो बहुत मन से नकार नकार रहता था उसका. और 3 साल की हुई तो मुझे ल्यूकोडर्मा हो गया. तो उन्होंने मुझे इतना सपोर्ट, मैं बहुत प्रिविलेज चाइल्ड थी, इतनी सुविधाएं मुझे मिली है कि कोई हद नहीं. ये बात अलग है कि समाज मुझे किस तरह से देखता था. બાપાની મોભાવાળી નોકરી, બંગલો, ગાડી ને 24 કલાકના નોકર, પણ તારો નિયમ કે કામ તો કરતા જ રહેવું. શરીર જેમ વપરાશે એમ એની ક્ષમતા વધશે. એટલે જ 85 વર્ષે એટ ધ 85 જ્યારે તું વતનમાં સાવ એકલી રહેતી ત્યારે આપણું ઘર એક નાનું સરખું સમાજ સેવાનું કેન્દ્ર બની જતું. આજે એવો સમય છે કે જ્યારે પેટના જણ્યા માટે શરીર કે પૈસેથી ઘસાવાનું આવે તોય ગણતરીમાંથી બહાર નીકળી શકાતું નથી. થેન્ક યુ.
Our language is, no, we call ourselves all. All means mankind. Officially they are calling us Todas. In Tamil they call us Toduvar. Here I am going to introduce one poet as well as a song. But this song shows the woman talent. 100 days before, when the train was introduced in Nilgiris, there was no vehicle, there was no building. Then when European came, they introduced their train. So she was sitting in the mountain and she saw that train. And immediately she composed that language and everything was very rich. So it was written in somewhere, but tune was very difficult to find. This was sung by one lady called Arvili. I will show that lady and introduce in a forum how she was. I found that photo. Elgasia, Elgorasia, Elgorasia. That is a buffalo's name. Elgorasia. My name in Toda language is Cosman Dev.
What does it mean?
It means Kos means money.
Yeah.
Man means house. Devi means Dev. Somehow I managed to complete an 11th standard. Then I thought it's over for me. Meantime, many men are coming for asking for marriages and all that stuff. Yes. My sisters all got married before me. Through Dr. Narasimham, I was put into the Sri Avinashi Lingam Home Science College. That is ladies' college. Nobody can enter inside without letter. Yeah, it's like a 3 years prison. Not prison for me, for the boys. They can't enter inside.
How you got married, your husband, who was considered a revolutionary leader?
Big gift, I think, because I avoided all the men. They all got married. My husband's sister and myself are same school. We are best friends. She's staying another village, the other mountain. I'm staying another mountain. We used to reflect mirror and we join in the river. My husband he formed one youth organization, and that youth organization is. He was just looking for overall educated, whom to tell the matters like that. There are 88 youths are there in that organization. So his aim is not improve the buffaloes number, save the buffaloes, conserve the buffalo, Toda buffalo. Toda buffalo is the wealth and health to the community. He came to the college, the Sundays he came, and he was talking, he's doing this work. Like child marriage and two communities. Some are priestly community, some are ordinary. In the community there are 10 clans are ordinary, 5 clans are priestly community. Yeah. So we should not marry within intermarriage with those communities. So that also is policy. If they should marry, otherwise girls will go out of the community. So 2 points, and some points he used to tell. I used to get angry. What a change you are making. Our people will kill you. Because I brought up in a very traditional way. Slowly changed his mind. Then my husband came after 2 weeks, 1 week again. Then I decided I must marry him. The registered marriage we did because intermoiety registration of marriage. Then we proved to our community. Is doing so much work like that, and in all committees, member, association member, tribal welfare member and all. He passed away in 2018, but I still feel he is with me. The Nalpatgar, then all the stations are mentioned from Ooty, then Kunur, Keti, Mettupalayam to Coimbatore in Toda language. So this is useful because they mention all the names are nowadays nobody is using the Toda words.
Counting days. I can feel my mind drifting sideways, my bones slowly growing older, and my soul getting tired. I can feel my mind give in to my mood again. For the 100th or the 1,000,000th times, I forget. I've lost count a long time ago. As the tide grows, it pulls me down, 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 down to the bottom, where bones and lost memories lies. There, I will find myself among the rubble. Consider myself as one of them. I'll make myself at home, lie on the heap, staring the blue surface. I'll watch my life above, my perfect little life. Then I'll wonder, what's wrong? I'll try to find errors but ended up finding none. I'll wonder over and over again what I've done to deserve this life and me. When I can no longer see my life before me, When the surface water becomes too dark, the sun will shine once more. For the 100th or the millionth time, I can't remember. I've lost count a long time ago. And the frail hands that guided me will pull me above the water once again. To publish, I consult my friend, so she told me that you should publish in Mizo to enrich Mizo literature. So I published in Mizo, but the English poems I wrote are not yet published.
I started my first work, pen. Pen means woman. Why they are calling women, the society, Bhadragali kind of thing. We are Bhadragali, or society making us Bhadragali kind of thing. So I took martial arts salutation with the stick and the body. Stick is my extension of my power.
Kalerani is not only a famous artist, but she is also acting in films, and she has won awards.
I written 2 scripts, my work as how I think and write. One is Mare. Mare means rain, and I want to see rain inside. Another play called Erindiri. That play is wake up. I'm all the time sleeping. So when the body is ready, the mind is not working. The mind is ready, but the body is not working. Where these two going to mix?
Combine, yeah.
The expressions you gave to another poetic original form, is it created by you, or have you learned it from someone, or is it unique to every performer?
This change every time according to the audience and the space. Only I have the skeleton, but I don't know what happened. I don't know what will happen. I work on my voice, and according to the voice, what is coming, I just let go with the flow.
मेरा नाम शीला, तो शादी हो गई और मेरे हस्बैंड ने मेरा नाम रखा शांता लक्ष्मी। लिखने का नाम तो शीला कोलमकर है, लेकिन मेरा जो ये है ना
मैरिटल नेम शांता लक्ष्मी
है, जो मुझे कभी अच्छा नहीं लगा। और जिस हस्बैंड ने मेरा वो नाम लिखा ना, उन्होंने कभी भी मुझे वो नाम से पुकारा नहीं। नो नो नॉट शीला, सुनते हो बोलते
वो बोलते हैं सुनते हो, तो आप उनको क्या बुलाते हैं?
मैं भी जब वो मेरा नाम नहीं लेते तो मुझे वो ये क्या बोलते हैं, मैं उनको उनके नाम से कैसे पुकारूं?
तो आप क्या बुलाते थे उसको?
कुछ मैंने सुना है बोलते हैं। मेरी जो कथा है उसका नाम है गैर। गैर शब्द पोर्चुगीज है, गैर मीन्स द वॉर। आजाव हांगा एकलोच बसला, एकलोच ना म्हळ्यार म्हजी साथीदारीण विस्कीची बॉटल म्हज्या म्हऱ्यांत आसा आनी एक पातळ उंच ग्लास तातूंतली विस्की म्हाका पिशें लायता. हांव एक घोट घेता. सामको सवकास. म्हाका कसलीच ताकतीक ना, कसलेंय चिंतप ना. ना म्हळ्यार म्हाका मदींच याद येता ती सिन्योर पेरेराची. खंय आसा काय पेरेर? पोर्तुगालाक काय आंगोलाक? चितो आसा काय मेलो? आनी ताचे तागेले धाकले चली तेरेजा, म्हजें काळीज, म्हजो मोग खंय खंय आसा काय तें? ताजें काजार जालें काय? हाय सिगार काबार जालें दिसता. आज 19 डिसेंबर. सगळें गोंय कशें खोशेन फुल्लां आनी हांव मात बसलां हांगा एकलोच. भूत कसो. भायल्याक व्हरतात म्हजो भाव गजाली सांगता. गोंय स्वतंत्र कशें जालें ना ताज्यो. गैर खंय जावंकूच ना. गैरच कशें जावं जाय आशिल्लें तशें जालेंच ना. आदले दिसा कॉमेस जालें आनी दुसरे दिसा काबार जालें. सिनेमाक जालें तशें गैर जालेंच ना. हो म्हणटा गैर जालें ना खंय. अरे पापया तुका खबर ना. गैर त्या दिसा काबार जालें ना, गैर त्या दिसाच्यान सुरू जालें. और जब सब लोग सोते थे तभी रात के 2 बजे बैठ के मैं लिखती थी, क्योंकि कोई भी दरवाजे पे टिक टिक नहीं करता था. बच्चे लोग ये दो वो दो नहीं मांगता था. और हमारे उनकी भी कुछ ही नहीं थी. और दूसरे दिन वापस सुबह 6 बजे उठ के काम करती थी. लेकिन तभी थकावट नहीं मालूम होती थी. अच्छा.
I was very small, hardly third or fourth standard. Anjali was observed by the school, and that time there was one play, and I insisted my ma that this time at least you give me something. And there was one play, and she gave me one line dialogues and role, you can say, and I went on the stage and I forgot the line. Somehow my mother prompted, and I just spelled out and delivered the dialogue, and I came and then I got a good slap from my mom. इसीलिए कहती थी ना कि मत करो ये सब, नाम खराब कर दिया, and everybody was laughing. I think that this is the seed of that day, which resulted me today that today I am able to do 80 minutes and 90 minutes solo.
देखो, झट से शर्म का ये ठेका उतार करके फेंक दो, वरना जो ना सर की जोबन से चुनरिया तो सरक लोगी तुम्हें इस दुनिया से गुइया. लेकिन क्या आपको सही में लगता है कि ये ब्रेस्ट हमारे शरीर के सबसे खूबसूरत, सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट ऑर्गन है? ब्रेस्ट के टैबू में निषेध के झाग और पानी के साथ मैं भी पूरे 4 साल तक किसी को नहीं बता पाई कि मेरे बाएं ब्रेस्ट के ऊपरी हिस्से में चने के दाल के आकार का एक लंप आया है, जो धीरे 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 बढ़ते बढ़ते सोक्ड चिकपी की तरह हो गया है. For everyone.
म बलात्कृत भएकी रात. आजकल दिन प्रतिदिन बढ्दै गइरहेको आफ्नै पेट छाम्दै अन्यलताहरूसित गुम्पित त्यो क्षितिज हेर्दै म टटोलिरहेछु. म बलात्कृत भएकी रात हो त्यो रात. त्यसकै स्वास्नी काखमा बच्चा च्यापे बिना शब्द रोइरहेकी थिए. गाउँ सहर खिचातानी र दङ्गा फसादले नीरवता छाएको थियो. हो त्यो रात मेरो अचेत अवस्थामा गल्लीका एक दर्जन भुस्या कुकुरहरूले मेरो अस्तव्यस्त शरीरलाई सुँघ्दै रात बिताएथ्यो। भावी पिँढीलाई कसरी यही उपहार भनौँ, तिनीहरूको अपेक्षालाई कसरी पछुत पारौँ अनि कसरी तिनीहरूकै बाबुका शिकार हुँ म भनौँ। खोइ म के गरौँ? यसरी दिन प्रतिदिन बढ्दै गइरहेको आफ्नै पेट छाम्दै अन्यलताहरूसित गुम्पित हिजआज क्षितिज हेर्दै म टटोलिरहेछु। I got married early in my life. That is the thing. Then after 3 years, I lost my husband. Now I am a nanny. I have a small grandchild girl, then my son and my daughter-in-law. You know, in our community, Nepali, the Kargil war, when it is fought, there's so many armies of Nepalese army, they died in the war. Then I went to visit the place of that, who died in the war. Then everyone says, no, Shahid, the husband Shahid ho gaya. That is what I have seen. Shahid hua, but after what happened? The, widow who is only 19, 20 years old and small child in her, yes, baby. That is the thing. Then I wrote a poem that a letter to the warrior, wife letter to a warrior who is fighting for the country. Their husband also fighting, wife also fighting.
It's a very short poem. It goes, I'm no poet. I'm no poet, but I long to write verses, painted with feelings, words that would capture the depth of my emotions, stanzas that flow from the core of my heart like music to the ear of the avid listener of a country song. Even my PhD topic was on silences, reading silences.
Yes.
I was looking into marginalized women, tribal women, their representation, their silences. So I think all of these kind of work together, which kind of showed me the way to look at individuals. And then in 2009, there was this conference on construction of evil. Yeah, evil for me was Daimari. Which evil for me growing up was like listening to stories of Dainis, And then I started working on how, like women are constructed as witches. It's a construct, as opposed to man being called an ojha or, medicine healer. So women also do that, but then women are not given that space.
I was an unwanted child in our house because my father, when I born, my father was not talking with my mother. Second thing, father and mother's love, affection, I didn't get. So, father, mother, if anybody writes poem that this, no reaction, I only read. Till the age of 3, I was here in Mumbai. Thereafter I went back in the sense they brought me native place.
Your grandmother.
Yes, and my aunt was there. She is having no issues. She loved me a lot, and I don't want my father and mother because I really didn't like them. So I stayed with my aunt. And second thing...
She was your mother's sister?
Elder sister.
Elder sister.
Her husband expired. So she was
Okay.
Thereafter, I was troubling them at home. They were doing shetkari's agricultural work. Therefore, they joined me to the school 3 years early. So now also, my date of birth, everywhere it shows 3 years more. So I never celebrate my birthday in my office also.
Then what was the third incident?
Third one is my uncle, my mother's elder brother.
Your mama.
Uncle, mama. So he was in Mumbai. I heard that because my mother-in-law was saying this story.
Yeah.
He was in Mumbai. He loved one Sindhi lady.
Yeah.
My grandfather, he was a so strict man.
Yeah.
So he didn't allow him to marry with her.
Yeah.
He said, you leave the job. He was in Central Bank of India.
Yeah.
Leave the job and come to native place. As it is, he left the job and came to native place.
he did?
Yes. Thereafter, he got little mad. So he was sleeping in a room, nothing doing. So whole life, till the age of 20, I was doing his work.
Oh, really? You were taking care of him? My God.
ಬಾಕಿಲು ಬೊಟ್ಟುನ ಶಬ್ದ ಕೇನೊಂದಿತ್ತುಂಡು ಬಾಕಿಲು ದೆಪ್ಪೆರೆ ಒರಿದು ಪೋಂಡು ಎಂಚಿನ ಪಂಡೆರಿಂದು ಕೇನೊಂದಿತ್ತುಂಡು ಎಂಕ್ ಪನಿಯರೆತ್ತಿನ ಒರಿದು ಪೋಂಡು ಎನಡ ಸಾರ ಸಾರ ಕನಕೊಲಿತ್ತುಂಡು ಒಂಜೆನ್ಲ ನನಸು ಮಲ್ಪರೆ ಒರಿದು ಪೋಂಡು ಪರ್ತೆ ಶಬ್ದಲು ಮನಸ್ಸಿನೆನ್ನ ಪರ್ತೊಂದಿತ್ತುಂಡು ಒಟ್ಟು ಗವೆನ್ನು ಪೊಲ್ಲರೆ ಒರಿದು ಪೋಂಡು ಕಣ ನೀರು ದಾರೆ ಕಟ್ಟದು ಜತ್ತೊಂದಿತ್ತುಂಡು ಅವೆನು ದೆಂಗ ಅವರೆ ಒರಿದು ಪೋಂಡು ಇಲ್ಲು ಕಟ್ಟುನ ಸಾಮಾನು ಬೂರ್ದಿತ್ತುಂಡು ಇಲ್ಲು ಕಟ್ಟುನನೇ ಒರಿದು ಪೋಂಡು ಕೈಪೆನೆಂಪುಲು ಬದುಕ ಜಾಲ್ಡು ಪೊರಡೊಂದಿತ್ತುಂಡು ಮದಪೆರವೆನು ಒರಿದು ಪೋಂಡು ಒರ ಪೇಂಟೆಗೆ ಕಾರ್ದಿಯೆ ಪಿರ ಪೋಪಿನನ್ನೇ ಒರಿದು ಪೋಂಡು. I was in the Women's Atrocity Court.
Yeah, yes.
376 rape cases and all.
Rape cases.
So horrible. Each and every day our mind is thinking about the girls, ladies, how much they are suffering. Thereafter, I say everyone in my family also, don't leave the girl, baby girl, with anyone. Not with his father also.
Yeah.
I don't believe. Father, brother, anyone. But don't leave the baby girl with anyone.
Some had stayed back when they were supposed to move. They had sense of humor. They thought it was just all a joke, laughable. Dimag tha theek hai tera, are you mad? I'm staying put. I'll take care of the house. Tusi komao, you all go and take a walk on the other side and come back. Thus some were left behind. They could not cross over. They could not cross over once the government decided that they had allowed an optimum number to cross. It was like the government had decided to punish them for their laxity. Where were you when we had opened the gates? No, now you can't. They put a ban. The poor folks had nowhere to go, so they stayed behind. The lucky ones got killed, and misery ended for them, but not for others. This book is not only about partition. While it starts with partition, it moves into the contemporary times.
Next generations also, yeah.
So every time one important episode is over, I bring in two Mirasis to comment about what is happening. And they do it in the typical humorous and tongue-in-cheek style. So kahin na kahin wo sare elements, whether it's the Mirasi element or it is the folklore, the way I've dipped into folk songs and folklore. So I felt that somewhere it connected more with the Punjabi kissa. I have buried all my jewelry in the backyard of the Haveli. We'll find it secure when we come back. Hafta 10 din, in a week or 10 days, should not take more. Listen, this will not go on, trust me. Where else will we live but here, in our house, in our village? How are you supposed to just move on? How on earth? We have never done it before and we have never even heard of it in the fantastic kissas our dadis and nannies told us. They who were given to exaggerating facts with namak, mirch, masala, salt and spices. Fact, fiction, story, dream, collective madness. What was this? Now even these doubts are a luxury. A doubt could cost you your life. You want to survive this? Vaddarola? The big ride? Just move. Don't think, just move.
A bard, Razagli, walks onto the stage playing his serza and singing. Sitting upright on horseback, swinging her sword, jumping into the battlefield, I bring the story of that lady. Listen, listen, O folks, the story of that Birago. neither Razia Sultana nor Jhansi Ki Rani. This brave lady is our own beloved Bodo daughter, Theng Phakri. When the women of this country were made to suffer by the oppressive laws of sati, our Theng Phakri became a tax collector. My grandfather had 3 wives, and my mother is the daughter of his eldest wife. So from his eldest wife, he had several children. Then from the next 2 wives, he had 2 each. So when we gather for our annual gathering, we are about 60 people in one gathering. So when we have one annual meeting, and which has to happen in the outskirts. It's like a picnic. So that's how big the family is. And so when they were growing up, my grandfather would take all his children, and that was his drama troupe. For example, to dance, to sing, and there would be these girls who would be dressed up in a particular way and dance, and they were called chokris. So I always had that in mind, and I always knew that somewhere I was very interested in theater. This is Act 3. So Theng Phakri has been in the service for some time, and this particular Razakli is the same person who had been there in the first, but this one is in the 19th century. And the Razakli is telling stories about the past. He's sitting beneath a tree and is surrounded by a number of young men and children. They're listening to him wide-eyed and open-mouthed. The Razakli. It's an old story. In this Bisney kingdom of ours, only the laws of our king existed. Our benevolent king accepted only sun-dried fish, areca nut, betel leaves, and home-woven clothes as tax. But alas, such is the fate of the Boros. After repeated onslaughts by the Bhutanese king, our kingdom came under the sovereignty of the Bhutan kingdom.
But mainly right now, I feel like I'm more inclined towards themes of alienation, solitude. And I think that has to do with a lot with my upbringing also, like most of us here. I grew up in different places. So I was born in Joy, in Jaintia Hills. And my father was in Shillong. My father and my elder brother were in Shillong. And my mother raised me up and my younger brother in Joy. So I grew up with my grandfather as my father figure. When I went to Shillong in a completely new school, in a convent, didn't know proper Khasi. And I was the outsider because I joined when I was in the 3rd grade. After that, for my graduation, I went outside again, then my master's also. So I was never really in one place at one time. So this poem is basically about the women who are caught in between these conflict-torn regions. My mother, Mera Paibi, is a torch-bearer, a flamethrower, who wanders the streets with flaming red hair and burning scarlet eyes. My mother, Gauri, caressed me gently in the warmth of her heart before the tigers came and did what they do best. I have 2 brothers, so I always felt like, oh, I wish I had a sister. I'm always alone. So I think that feeling really, these things, whatever, these experiences, they really reflect on my poetry. So particularly the themes of being alone. Yeah. My sister, Apenyo, died young but still beautiful, while singing her last song, even as those brutal arms shook her fragile body, but her soul they could not touch. Just like my sister, Manorama, who remained true and pure and refused to lick the paws of those beasts, even as they tore her body to shreds on her soil in the dead of night.
My father is a Malayali and who settled in Delhi, and my mother is a Punjabi. She was born in Amritsar, settled in Delhi. They met and it was a love marriage. Interestingly, both of them did not force their languages onto us. A gentle divorce. Some divorces are more than mere attachments, lawsuits and documents, of breaking of bonds, of roles, clothes and codes, or dividing the assets, financial, physical, emotional, or drawing circuitous lines around petty everyday things, or naming and renaming oneself, the house, the .org, or claiming the greater shares on the bed, the dining table, the market, or dissecting affections into myriad shapes and directions. Some divorces are deeper than the surface, the skin, go beyond the specifics into redefinitions without all the paperwork. With freedom of thoughts and will, sans the spacing out bit. Revelations of selfhood minus the breakage or the brokerage. Spurting creativity, stale or fresh, through newly found old chinks. Stolen moments of delight, withholding the summons and the decrees. Of trances and fusions, outside the shots and the guns. Of poetry, plain and ornate, coupling and reveling, long and short. Some divorces are deeper than nesting in the still blank margins of life's diary, concealed in broad sunlight, as in the caves of a ravenous night. Some divorces are simply gentle, settled smoothly, ex parte, without the wigs and the collars and the big black coats, with far less fees and lesser clutter, with flesh and blood, singing the eternal song together within the self. So me and my younger sister, we grew up with English as our languages, but through a series of random events, my father put me in a Tamil medium school. So from class 1 to 8, I was studying even mathematics and social sciences in Tamil. Yeah, for no other connection except that our neighbor's child went there. But what I did get out of that mixed parentage is a flair for languages. I loved languages since the very beginning.
Our family was not really affected by partition on a personal level.
Yeah.
I have been in Mumbai since I was 6 years old. I was born in Punjab. My mother's Punjabi was very rhythmic. It is still very rhythmic. She still speaks wonderful Punjabi. But I speak fairly good Punjabi, but I wouldn't speak Punjabi in a gathering. Okay? Like what I am saying and what you are receiving are two different things. I have found that in every relationship. There's a very interesting story which I want to communicate here. It's a story I wrote in, I'm not going to talk about the story, I'm going to talk about a different narrative altogether. I wrote the story somewhere in the 1980s. I sent it for publication. And publication meant you sort of type it, put it into an envelope, send it. So I sent it to Manushi. And it got published, in the next issue. And in those days, Manushi was a big name, so I was very happy. But somewhere in 2004 or 5, I was just surfing the internet and I come across this short story in the form of flashcards. Okay? And my name is printed as Charan, J-I-T with a capital J, and Kaur. I found that people were using it as teaching material in Norway.
In Norway?
In Norway. In the story, as far as I remember now, my state of mind was, I wanted to show a person who's down completely and yet manages to assert herself in a very different manner. Not even in a manner which anybody else would understand, but she knows that, yes, I'm asserting myself. This story is being taught, and I'm very, very unhappy about this, in Norway, as a story of Indian poverty. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
But then I realized that, yes, once you have published, the work is out of your hand. Okay?
ഇടങ്ങിൻ മൊഴിയിൽ
தூசி படிந்து சுவற்றின் மேல் சாய்த்து வைத்திருந்த கரையான் அரிக்காமல் இருக்க தெளித்திருந்த மருந்தின் நெடியையும் மீறி சில தைரியமான கரையான்கள் அரிக்கத் தொடங்கியிருந்த புத்தகங்களை பார்த்தாள். அது கிடங்கு அல்ல, ஒரு சரித்திர புதையல் என்று தோன்றியது. My mother was a musician, and from a very young age she learned music. My mother comes from a family of connoisseurs of music, and she was the eldest child of 10 children. All 10 of them sing. When I was very young, she started teaching me music along with my elder sister. So both of us used to learn music. And then we learned from very good teachers in Bangalore. And everybody used to say that this girl, she has Alamelu's voice. Alamelu is my mother. So she has Alamelu's voice. So I was very proud of my voice. And in 74, I lost my voice. And I developed nodules in my vocal cords. I got married in 76 and I came to Bombay. We met Ustad Moinuddin Dagar. He plays Rudraveena. So I asked him, Bade Ustad, aap mujhe Rudraveena sikhayenge? He told me, and he started teaching me the early lessons. Unfortunately, he died within a year. So he always used to say that the music must rise like a giant wave. But when it comes and touches you, it should touch you like the foam of the wave, you know. It should carry all the strength of the wave, but it should not come and hit you. So every time I write a story, I do think of it. Because I don't want to write stories that come and hit you, you know. They should touch you very smoothly, you know, but the touch should be very deep, I feel. இடிக்கப்பட்ட வழிபாட்டு ஸ்தலங்கள் பற்றிய உண்மைகள், இடிபாடுகளுடன் இருக்கும் சிதிலமடைந்த கோவில்களின் சரித்திரம், இனப்படுகொலைகளின் குருதி பூசிய அனுபவங்கள், முரண்படும் அரசியல்கள், அழியும் இனங்கள் என்று எத்தனை எத்தனை இங்கு பிரசுரம் காணா கோப்புகளிலும் பிரசுரித்து முடக்கப்பட்ட புத்தகங்களிலும் சிதறி கிடக்கின்றனவோ அத்தனையும் விழுங்கிய மலைப்பாம்பாய் நீண்டு கிடந்தது அங்கு.
The title should be, Do You Know Who She Is? What, you coming with me?
Yeah.
Amen. You remember, yeah? Eh? You remember what? You know what you're supposed to do. Eh?
Sringaram. Chete. Eh? Sringaram chete.
There's lots of things she has given us, both my sister and I. A kind of unquestioned modernity and just...
That is her when she's much younger.
Yeah.
That's her.
I love the last part, you know, where it's almost self-deprecating about your own film. You know those lines that he throws in, कि क्या film बनाया सब सफेद बालों क्यों दिखाया, you know, all those characters that you threw in. It's self-deprecating on the family itself and on the film itself. So I thought that is very self-reflexive and in a way, you know, postmodern, the way you slipped that in.
कि मेरे फादर इन लॉ मेरी मदर इन लॉ को 5-5 रुपये के पीछे इतनी भयानक लड़ाइयाँ होती थी. अब जब फादर इन लॉ की डेथ हो गई तो पेंशन मदर इन लॉ के पास मतलब उनको लग गई. तो एक दिन वो कमरे में हैं और तस्वीर के सामने खड़ी हैं वो फादर इन लॉ के, और ऐसे खड़ी हैं ऐसे. इनकम अब उनके हाथ में है तो वो ऐसे बांटती हैं वो सबको, कोई रिश्तेदार आ जाए कोई आ जाए ऐसे देती हैं पैसे, ऐसे देती हैं. मतलब कितना कुछ मतलब दबा हुआ है अंदर कि इनकम को देख के मतलब कैसे उनके दिमाग में चल रहा है कि बार बार वो आपको पूछ रही हैं.
I was really interested. Also, it reminds me of my grandma, who passed away 3 years ago. And then she had Alzheimer, and like this, she used to forget things, you know. And then I taken her in the hospital, and sorry. I really miss her. Okay, that's it.
Oh, come on.
I really like the movie. Thank you. I can't say anymore anything, you know, right now. Okay, this expresses everything I think. I think.
And like when I think about my own family, my grandparents passed away from my paternal side and my maternal sides. I didn't grow up with any grannies. So, you know, it was that. So we don't know what it's like what grandparents, you know. I'm just feeling emotional now. Because all of you have so many stories to tell. We didn't grow up with any grandparents. Then, you know, we grew up with a very loving dad. So, you know, when one talks about, you know, within the family, the domestic, I just can't understand. Because I had a dad, you know, who was like a mother also for us. You know, so we grew up like that, who would wake up early in the morning at 4 o'clock, cook for us. You know, when we have exams, he would be the one who would wake up. And he wouldn't say anything to my mother. She was a working woman, right, my mother? All right, but she was not like other moms. She wouldn't cook food in the kitchen. She wouldn't do any kitchen work. She wouldn't serve us food. So we would always compare our mom with the other mothers. But growing up, like going to JNU, talking about, discussing feminism and all that, then I would come and talk to my sisters. Then we came to understand our mother. We would see her in a different light. So it's only late in our life, like, you know, we got to know her and we grew to love her, actually.
My mother's name was Suresh Tyagi. It's like a male, but she was called Saris, Suresh Tyagi.
Achha.
So from Aya, she went on to become an IVA doctor. From a place where she served as a helper, she had her Chitra nursing home opposite it. So, you know, she took about 15 years to cross that road.
Yeah,
from one to another.
What a great lady that she named the nursing home after you. Isn't it a great gesture?
Because I think I became the thing that her dream, you know, that my daughter, because she was not wanted.
Yeah.
And she told my grandparents, my paternal grandparents, you're disowning her. I'll show you what she becomes. I wish she was there, but fortunately the day I joined High Court, I was enrolled with Delhi Bar Council, and she came on the first day.
Okay.
So there was a foyer, if anybody is familiar with Delhi High Court. I went inside, and when I came out, she was sitting in the big foyer, and she saw me in that gown. It's like, you know, I can't describe that look in her eyes, because that is as if she's seeing her dream come true.
जिन बातों के लिए औरतें संघर्ष कर रही हैं, वो बातें अखबारों में नहीं पता चलती, वो टीवी में नहीं पता चलती, वो एक राइटर ही एक ऐसा जरिया है जिससे हमें उसका पूरा पता चलता है.
The battle is not always with something outside. There are lots of battles we do within. And a lot of our writing has to do with that battle.
And writing in a way is control, I feel. The minute you hold the pen and direct your thoughts, it's a kind of control. It's not always about what's on the surface. It's about inferences. It's about the subterranean. It's about, you know, the underground. And so much of it is palpable. So much of it, you know, one derives through readings.
You write and express yourself, because the expression is important, because much of what you're experiencing, you need to share with others,
to build solidarity also.
लिखने वाले जो हैं उनको मैं यही रिक्वेस्ट करूँगी, तुम्हारे दिल में जो आता है, जो दिमाग में आता है, जो जैसा आता है वैसा ही लिखो। ये क्या बोलेगा, वो क्या बोलेगा, वो क्या बोलेंगे, उसके ऊपर विश्वास मत करो। ये मेरे रूममेट है, लेकिन इसके मिलने से मुझे बेटी मिलनी चाहिए, लेकिन मुझे तो मेरी माँ मिल गई है। वो मेरा बहुत ख्याल रखती है। वो जो हम ये ले लेते हैं ना, इतना बड़ा, ये मुझसे कम वक्त होती है, मुझसे नहीं होती, इसके लिए वो आके मेरा बेड वगैरह ठीक ठाक करके उसका भी करके दे देती है। बाहर निकलने के बाद तो पानी पिया क्या, मोबाइल लिया क्या, रुमाल लिया क्या, ये है क्या, वो है या नहीं, दवाई
मारू मतलब मलिर के रहवासी। माधी भाया मुंजा मारू ईंदा।
उग्यो उग्यो पूनम केरो चंद्रे प्रभाते कागड़ उकल्या रे लोल। चाकरिए मारा ससराजी ने मेलो, परण्यो जी नहीं आवे चाकरी रे लोल। पति नहीं आएगा, ससुर जी को भेजो।
Nilagiri om de la earth norma om de la oshakula nashat vakula. Nilagiri om de la ayal kolenas de la earth norla om de yesa oshat vakula nashat vakula.
Wow, lakjir unam sarang yakamen sim upkin rem. Wow, lakjir unam sarang yakamen sim ulapalang. Nga ong ko kunay lekyu shari kasi shari kibriu shong ko pala kinram kinran bamda uka bamda unor. Ngin bam da u jango jathang baro shilur baro shitlang bin ban kinrem nanga miklat marwei haswai ngajau umma. That's all. Thank you.